Welcome to another video of Naylor's Garage. This one's going to be a bit different. We've got a few bits that I've ordered. I've designed and made a few things, or got things made for the engine. Well, first things first, I've designed my water manifold, which is here. So this is what's going to join up these water inlets and outlets. And just convert them to a -16, so an AN16 fitting. So I've not actually test fitted this against the engine yet. All I've done is designed it on Fusion 360, and then all I did that with was a picture, and then I just had a dimension or two that I took on the actual engine, and then sort of sized the picture to the right dimension, then basically designed this. So I've not actually test fitted it yet, so I'm not actually sure if it fits, but that's part of what I'm doing today. So I'm just going to test fit this, see what it looks like, see what I can do to maybe make it a little bit better. Give you a bit of a closer view of the details I've put on the front, which I'm quite impressed by. I've not got a huge amount of experience on CAD or Fusion 360. When I was at uni and college, I did a little bit on SolidWorks, but SolidWorks is a little bit different to Fusion, a little bit of a learning curve, and I've not done it in 8 years, 6 to 8 years, so I was semi-starting from new. That's sort of the inside profile. So that obviously connects the top 2 waterways and the bottom 2 waterways. I've got it just 3D printed out of some cheapy stuff to start with. Just because I need to see if it fits first. Once I can confirm that this design's right, I've already got quotes to get it CNC'd. So I will get it CNC machined, so it'll be a sort of 2 blocks of aluminium, and then that's going to be a rubber seal. I'm going to get that CNC'd out of a bit of rubber. So it should seal nicely, and I shouldn't have any water leaks. I was debating whether to do this or do it with O-rings, but with the way I've designed it, I don't think I could fit 2 O-rings in this channel nicely. So I've gone for sort of more of a rubber seal, but we'll see how we get on. So that's the first thing I'll do is bolt that on. But the second thing, people may or may not know who Creality is. They are a 3D printer company. Like, they make 3D printers, 3D scanners, all sorts really. But I've bought myself a 3D scanner because there's quite a few things on this that I want to make a bit custom, whether it's on the engine mounts, bodywork parts. So there's quite a few custom things that I want to do, and I couldn't seem to find very many scans online for it. So, and when I could find the scans, they were like $100 each, and I thought, well, at that rate, for all the things that I want to scan, and if I had to buy them at $100 a time, I might as well just buy a 3D scanner and do it myself, and know it's exact to my car, and I know that it's dimensionally correct. So I bought the Creality, throwing stuff on the floor already, Otter. So I've had a few goes with it just in the house, just scanning random things. But yeah, bought the Creality Otter. Nice little bit of kit. It's smaller than I thought it was going to be. When I bought it, I thought, or when I'd seen them reviewed online, I thought they'd be, I don't know, 50% bigger. But it's quite a nice small light thing. So yeah, bought the scanner, but I also bought, when I ordered it, I got the scan bridge, because you can't scan wirelessly to your phone or to your laptop just with the Otter itself. It has to be hardwired. So I thought, well, I wouldn't mind doing it wirelessly, because I'd read a few people saying that it can get a bit awkward with the cable and stuff. and plus I wanted to be able to scan to my phone. So I also bought the scan bridge, which again is a nice bit of kit. I've already got the bits on the Otter for the scan bridge because I've already connected them up and had a little play. But they fit together. There's a little mount that you attach to the bottom of the Otter, so it just pushes on, and it's a nice mechanical fit, like clips in, and that's not going anywhere. And then that cable just plugs into the scan bridge. So that's now your Creality Otter has basically a battery and a wireless output of the information. From what I read, I think it's got a 2.5 hour battery to run the Creality Otter. And it also has a little foam mount, which I'll grab out of here. Little foam mount, it's just a little stretchy, what you'd expect to see in a car mount, if you like. But that just magnets onto the back, and then you put your phone in there, so you can actually just scan directly to your phone, and you don't need a laptop. So there's a few things that I do want to do, and it's probably easier to scan to my phone instead of carrying a laptop around everywhere. So sort of, they were the couple of reasons that I bought it, and I managed to get a bit of a deal on it. Not sponsored in any way. I've got, I don't know, 14 subscribers, so I don't think Creality are that bothered about giving me a sponsorship deal. But I managed to, I think I ordered it on eBay and just put an offer in direct from Creality, and to my amazement that they accepted it. So got it at a little bit of a discount, which was nice. I think it cost me £750, so it's not a cheap bit of equipment, but you can spend £2,000, £3,000, £4,000, and if you get the big industrial ones, they can be like tens of thousands of pounds or £100,000. So, but for what I need, I don't need something like that. But yeah, I'm waffling now. Here I am, waffling as usual. But yeah, so today I want to scan the engine, whole engine, because I want to custom mount an alternator down here somewhere. Probably a BMW alternator. I'm not gonna use the one off the current engine, because I think that's only an 80 amp alternator. But because I'm running an electric water pump and electric power steering, I'm going to need more ampage basically. So I found one off an E36, I think it's a diesel, but it's a 150 amp alternator, and it's common for me to get in the UK. So if for whatever reason it fails, it's quite an easy part for me to acquire. So yeah, I want to scan the engine so I can make a alternator mount and the tensioning system. And I probably will make videos of all this, but it's not going to be the most exciting thing, but I will do it. And I'm doing an R-in on at least trying to design my own inlet manifold, whether I'll make it and use it. But I've seen a few people make them on YouTube and stuff like that, and 3D print them, which I might end up buying myself a 3D printer as well, because these bits that I got printed here cost me, I think it was about 70 quid. But if I keep having things 3D printed and prototyping, very quickly I'm going to get to the point where actually I could have just bought a 3D printer, and then I can print things the same day, have parts the same day, instead of waiting 3 or 4 days. So I'm probably going to end up buying a 3D printer. So, but I'm digressing again. I'd quite like to make a custom inlet manifold, because they seem quite expensive, and from what I've seen online, it's quite hard to get them here in the UK, and the ones you can get are the aluminium ones, which look alright, but apparently they don't have the best performance. So I was thinking, well, it'd be quite a cool little project to do a custom inlet manifold of some sort, and whether it's just prototyping before I get it CNC machine, just be quite a nice thing to do, I think. Have some personalisation on it. A bit like what I've done on this water manifold, to be honest. Like just putting a bit of like Naylor's Garage, like it's just quite cool in my opinion. It's just nice to have things on your engine that you've made as well. I find that quite a nice accomplishment. Anyway, enough of the waffling. First things first, we're going to test fit this water manifold and see if she fits. So what I've got is 6 M8 by, I think they're 80mm bolts, which should be the right thread pitch for these, which they are. Oh, I've just realised I don't seem to have any tools here. Yeah, I seem to have taken my tools to work, which isn't an issue. I just thought I'd left them all here. But I can hand thread these in and see if they fit, that's fine. Well, I forgot I'd done that. That's quite funny. Anyway, I digress. So first thing, since I don't have any tools, I'm going to just see if this base plate fits. And I'm just going to bolt the base plate up because I'll be able to see if the holes for the waterways line up. So if all 6 of these bolts go in, it's probably a little bit of a miracle. That's one in. Let's see if the opposite one goes in. I have made these bolt holes a little bit oversized, not massively, just a little bit, just to make sure it has a touch of float. And the good thing is about 3D printing and prototyping this sort of stuff is that you're not wasting a load of money getting it CNC'd to then find out it doesn't fit. Oh but hell, all 3 of these are threading in. Well, would you believe it? There is a little bit of tension on them, so I do want to move the holes a little bit. Probably a bit more tension than I'd like, but they do all thread in. I'll show you a bit closer. They are all started, can't pull them out. But that's the sort of base. You can see looks like all the ports line up pretty well. Pretty smooth. So that is my initial sort of flange. They do all thread in, but I think these end holes maybe just want to move over. I mean, it's like 1/2 mil probably. Yeah, maybe 1/2 mil. And maybe this whole 1/2 mil down, or these top 2 1/2 mil up. But I mean, I'm pretty impressed with myself there. It's pretty close, and those ports line up really well because I spent quite a lot of time. This is probably my 9th design of actually trying to get them to line up and get all the geometry right, but I didn't actually put them on, if that makes sense. I didn't print. This is the first one I've had printed. It's just I was getting my head around the CAD software again, like Fusion 360. Like I say, it's been quite a while since I've sort of done this sort of stuff, so I had to get my head back into it. So yeah, well, let's try it with the other 2 pieces and see how we get on. So the good thing about doing it on CAD as well, so obviously I've got the ports, this dictated this plate size, but once I'd done, I could measure how deep I needed the bolts, so there wasn't any question on how long the bolts I needed. I could just work it out on the CAD software and get them, which made it nice and easy. That's it pretty much bolted up. I think that looks pretty cool. Better than the OEM water pump, the big bulky thing. we've gone from this heavy thing big, heavy, bulky thing to that nice little thing. So I'm well impressed with that. I probably will make this gap a bit tighter. Just take, I don't know, 5mm out of this when I actually get it made. But yeah, other than that, I'm well impressed with it. So I'm going to have some AN lines coming out of these two ports. So I'm going to have a -16 or AN16, AN standing for Army Navy, sort of adapter that'll fit in here. So it'll be a male, and then a 45 piece, because this piece is 45 degrees. A 45 piece coming out, and then the water lines will just run across here. This one, I think I'm going to put, again, a bung in there, like a fitting for a male fitting. And then I'm going to put a 90 on there, I think. So then that bottom line will have a little bit of an arc, and I'll just run them together off here somewhere to the water pump, which is sit around here in the engine bay. So yeah, I'm well impressed with that. It fits up pretty well. So you might not realise, but it's actually the next step, or it's a week later from when I filmed the previous footage. Realised that my screen recorder didn't work, and a lot of the footage was not that good. You couldn't really see what I was doing, so I've downloaded a better screen recording software, and I'm here to scan the top of the engine again because I want a slightly higher resolution scan for the top of the engine, because I want to design an inlet manifold. Whether I'll use it or not, I'm not too sure yet, but I do want to scan the top again, and it gives me a good opportunity to show you like what I'm doing and how I'm doing it, and hopefully get a bit better footage of some scanning. Later in the video I'll show you some of the scans that I have done. I've actually scanned quite a lot of stuff already, just getting a bit carried away with it really. Without further ado, we'll pop over to the laptop. The Creality scan software is already open. I am going to go for a medium scan on texture setting. So when I scanned all the stuff last week, I've used geometry or the marker settings. The geometry seems to lose tracking a little bit more than the texture settings. I'll have to have a look and see. In my eyes, geometry is, it's all mathematically from, let's say, this point to this point on the engine is geometrically right, but, and texture is more just a surfacing thing. But after doing some back-to-back measurements, it looks all right. I'll have to do some more checking. I'll do it when I do this now, but yeah. But these are the settings I'm going to use. So normal object, medium size. Obviously the large, medium and small, that dictates your resolution at what you're scanning at. I used large when I scanned the engine before, and it's got quite a bit of detail, but I'm hoping using the medium size it'll just give me slightly better resolution for when I'm designing the inlet manifold, so I can get all these bolt holes bang on and stuff like that. So yeah, without further ado, let's start scanning. So you can see there that it's showing up like a light green and a red. So the red, if you've not watched many videos of 3D scanners before, the red is like, it's basically saying it's not got enough scan data, and the greener, the further it goes into the green or fully green, basically shows you that it's got good scan data. And obviously we're basically aiming for everything to have green scan data. I am very new to 3D scanning, so a lot of this is I'm learning as I go along. The more data it gets, the more likely it is to stay in tracking as well. I've noticed anyway, whether it's just a me user error thing or whether that's how they always work, but I've noticed once I get some more scan data, like quite a lot of scan data, the tracking seems to be quite considerably better. Which sort of makes sense because it's got more stuff to go off, right? You can see on the left hand side there's it shows you whether you're too close or too far away on that little sliding scale. This is only running at a couple of frames a second, which is pretty low, but my laptop's, I don't know, 5 years old. Although it's a gaming laptop, it's quite an old gaming laptop. I think it's got a GTX 1070 or something like that graphics card, which is, I don't know what number they're at now. I don't game enough or anything like that. But like I say, it's a good 5 years older. And it's a laptop graphics card as well, which were never used to be quite as powerful. But yeah, it's running at a couple of frames a second. Could probably do with a more powerful laptop to have it running at higher frames per second. So hopefully, sort of just speed the process along really. It's doing the job. It'll do for now. I am planning on maybe getting a MacBook or something for video editing anyway, so it's maybe just another excuse for doing that. One feature that is really good that I'm really quite impressed with is the back feature, like being able to like undo as you go, because like I say, I'm new to 3D scanning and there's plenty of bits where I've had to backtrack and it's lost tracking, but it's just so easy to just press the back button, like pause it, press the back button, get yourself centered again, and then you're good to carry on, which I have been really handy. See, like here it's lost tracking, it's trying to add another cylinder on. So if I pause it, if I go back, it's because it's got quite repeatable shapes with the heads, you know, so this is where it really comes in quite handy. I mean, it looks like a pretty reasonable scan, to be fair. For what I want to use this scan for, I don't really think I need anything else. So we will call that a day, complete scan. And I think because this is, I mean, it's got 305,000 points, which I think is quite a big scan, really. So it wouldn't surprise me if it takes a little while to process. But yeah, there's our finished scan. So hopefully I'll be able to use this to sort of design a manifold. I just clicked the one click process at this point. I'm not 100% sure the best settings to use. Still sort of learning it, really. But I just use the auto and then the one click process. I thought before going out and actually scanning, I just thought I'd show you basically the setup. So the phone on there, scanner on front, handle, or the scan bridge. Then you've got a battery indicator, a green light that says that you're connected. That's blue if you're not connected, or flashes blue. And then power button. You've also got a play, pause, like button just where your finger will sit. So yeah, I'm gonna go out and scan the car. I might have to come in and grab some of the scan tracking dots, like little circles, see how we get on. I'm going to try and do it without, because I've seen people do it without with this scanner. It's supposed to be really good for it. So yeah, let's give it a go without. If we have to, I'll yeah, get the dots. So like I said, I've done quite a bit of scanning now on the car. The footage I got wasn't very good, and to be honest, if you're watching this video, you've probably seen loads of people scanning cars, and if you haven't, it's not the most entertaining thing in the world. You're just waving a scanner in front of the part you're scanning. However, these are some of the scans that I've got when she boots up. So this is the side of the car, obviously. Weirdly, I got some of these, it's like got holes in the mesh. I probably should have used more of these scan dots, which are these little things that are stuck to the side of the car. I probably should have used quite a few more of those. But the actual mesh is pretty good. I actually merged this with another scan that I did that actually cleared up quite a bit of this around here. This is a rear hatch that I did, and again this was using all the scan dots. I didn't realise how many scan dots I needed to use, or targets. So when I do scanning of large objects again, I'll make sure I fire a lot of dots on. So obviously that's the scan data. And I have, it is worth saying, I have already started designing stuff off these scans. So this is the engine, obviously. This was when I tried scanning the whole engine. And as you can see, it's got pretty not bad detail. Like I say, actually doing this scan was my first ever proper scan of anything of real size. But if you have a look at the actual mesh, the details on the mesh are okay. Not the best, but again I think I could have done better if I used texture instead of geometry. And actually you can see there's a bit of a hologram bit, not a hologram but like a, it's almost lost tracking. If you compare that to just the top scan that I did on the medium scale, or medium resolution, you can immediately see how crisp the lines are now, which obviously would make it a lot easier to get your designs a lot more accurate. So I'm really impressed for a little, basically a hobbyist unit. I think it's a fantastic little kit. I got a bit bored, so I scanned the centre console. I do want to do a cup holder design at some point. I'll probably go through and scan again. But yeah, I'm really impressed. And then this is a little, I've got the battery stored in the boot. Oh, I've done the battery location into the boot. But now, because I've done that, the actual battery cover doesn't go in. It should go across there, because the battery's a bit big. So I do want to make something that's a bit stepped and possibly has a subwoofer in it. I'm not sure yet. It's a thought I've had in my head for a little while, and I thought, well, I'll get a scan and then I can have a play when I've got a bit of time. But I think I scanned this one on the large scale. So I thought I'd just give my last final thoughts after the 3D scanning and what have you of the Creality. Like I say, it's not sponsored. Like I say, I've got 15 subscribers or whatever it is. But I've been really impressed, and for value for money, I do think it's really good, especially with the scan bridge. Like I say, I think it was like 750 quid I paid for it. I do think it's a really good tool to have in your toolbox as a bit of a car enthusiast. If you're a bit of a car builder or you like to modify your cars, make custom parts or whatever, I do think it's a really handy tool that you can have in your toolbox. So the great thing with them, it gives you the flexibility to sort of design and make things how you want, and not just how some of the aftermarket manufacturers have made it. Stuff like alternator brackets, which I am going to design in the future, inlet manifolds, you can sort of make it how you want. Gives me the opportunity to make my own adapters to go to throttle bodies. Like I say, I probably won't, but it gives me that flexibility. Get to design and make stuff exactly how you want. Would I recommend getting a 3D scanner? Definitely, and I wish I'd have got one sooner actually. I've been to and fro with it for years, for all sorts of stuff really. But I'm glad I've got one now for this project. I really do think it's going to help me out on just making sure this engine goes in pretty seamlessly. And I want the engine bay to be like something to be proud of. Like, I want it to look amazing. I'm not wanting a tucked wire harness or anything like that, but I want it to look nice. I'm going to use the scanner to scan the engine bay, and then I'll make coolant reservoir, stuff like that, and windscreen washer reservoirs, but make them nice and design them so I can have them cut out of sheet metal, and then I can weld them up and have them look really nice. So yeah, I would 100% recommend it. The only thing I would say is it seems better scanning on my phone, So if you do get the Otter, I would recommend getting the scan bridge because it seems to scan better to my phone. Whether that's just because my laptop's maybe not as powerful as it maybe should be, that's probably the case, because I was getting 5 frames a second maximum, I think. So that makes the scanning process quite a bit longer, where if I was getting 20 frames a second, which it says it should do, obviously it'd take a quarter of the time it just has done for me to scan that, and it'd take the processing time down quite a bit. So it's probably more a me issue on the laptop wise. So I would make sure, if you are going to get one, make sure you've got a laptop or a computer that can cope with it. But yeah, definitely recommend. It's a little bit of a different video for you today. If you have enjoyed the video, please do consider liking and subscribing. I know it's been a little bit different. Hopefully once we get to the point where the engine can go in, the videos will be a bit more exciting, actually getting the engine in the car and up and running. I do get that this probably isn't the most entertaining point of the build. Hopefully in the next couple of months we'll start looking at getting the engine in with a bit of luck. So yeah, please consider liking and subscribing. See you in the next one.